Have you ever wondered why some men are just beta males? Like the shit they do with women, the stuff they sacrifice for women, right? And hey, all of us at probably some moment in our lives were beta males. And in this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 shocking reasons why men become betas. And specifically, number 3 is probably the most interesting one that I want to cover. So keep watching because you may have experienced this yourself, but this will explain a lot on why there's so many betas out there. All right, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification button because I'm dropping a video every day. Okay, 5 shocking reasons why men become beta males. There are some people out there that say, well, no one's really born a beta and no one's really born an alpha. Yeah? Well, I'm going to make a point on something. I'm going to share something and then challenge your perception on that one. Okay? So, there are people in the scientific community, professional community, dating coaches, whatever, and say, no one's really born a beta, no one's really born an alpha. Well, I'll tell you this. When I was young, I played football. I started playing football at the age of 15, and I played all the way up through and played university football. All right. So one of the most fascinating things that I witnessed was this. One time, and I didn't really think about it myself, but one time I was watching these little kids, because you can start playing football. This is American football, by the way. Little kids at the age of like 6, and they're like look like Smurfs with this huge helmet, right? With their tiny little bodies. So one time I see these kids, and the coach gives the ball to this one kid, and he's like, okay, take this ball. And the kid's like, okay. And then tells the other kid, he's like, hey, you see these pylons? You with the ball, you stand over here. You without the ball, stand over here. And then all of a sudden the coach says, hey, you without the ball, you go tackle that kid. You with the ball, try to get past the kid who's trying to tackle you. And both kids are like, okay. The fascinating thing is this. No one taught these kids fear, okay? No one taught them whether they would like smashing into each other or not. But time and time again, I experience or I see this, right? Where one of those two kids either is like, wow, I want to completely smash this other kid. And the other kid is usually doesn't want to get hurt, doesn't want to get hit. So what is that? Well, you're born like that. You are born to either fight or flight. And I think that's one of the reasons why I liked football is because I liked smashing other kids, okay? And I didn't mind getting hit at all. And that right away, what happens in that kind of league when the kids are young, right? I guess up to 15-ish, is very quickly the coach could determine whether that kid's made for football or not. Because in football, you need to be okay getting hit or hitting, right? But there are kids where they just do not want to hit. They don't want to inflict pain on someone else, or they don't want to receive pain themselves. And so, but you can't teach that, is my point. So there's this element of beta males. There are some beta males who are just born that way. Okay, so that's number 1. And in this video, I'm going to cover the 5 things as I mentioned. So number 1 is they're born that way. There are betas that are just born that way. Number 2, beta males almost always make women their priority. Alpha males, on the other hand, make themselves a priority. And this is one of the things that I can relate to in terms of this point is because I made that mistake when I was married. I started making my wife the priority, and you've maybe heard this term before, betatization through 1,000 concessions. As over time, you become betatized, right? And one of the key markers of a beta is when he makes his wife or he makes the woman the priority. And sure, I understand there's compromises. You have to talk about some things and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, a true alpha does what he fucking wants to do. He says to his wife, he says to his girlfriend, hey, or his long-term partner says, look, I need to move for this job. Are you coming? Right? There's not really much discussion. And I fell into that trap in my marriage. And that's one of the reasons why I left my marriage, is because eventually I had enough. I had enough with my ex-wife saying no, she didn't want to move. I was the breadwinner. I was the career person. I was the one making most of the money. And then eventually I said, you know what? I'm moving to Atlanta because that's where I live now. I'm originally from Canada. And I said, are you coming or are you not? And so that's where a lot of men fail in their relationships, is they make the woman the priority. Betas make women the priority. Alphas make themselves a priority. So that's number 2. Number 3, so this is the one I wanted to cover. It's a little on the deeper side here, and that is betas typically have a lot of unresolved weaknesses and or trauma. So just bear with me on this one. When I say weaknesses or trauma, a lot of betas have either experienced child abuse, right? Physical, emotional, sexual, or they're living in a current sexless marriage. They either have, many of them have no status in their job or no responsibility or accountability in their job. They are reliant on substance or alcohol abuse. They, a lot of times have low testosterone levels. So just a quick side note, guys, after the age of 35, you lose 1% of your testosterone each year. Go get your testosterone checked, get a blood test and see where you're at. Drop a comment and let me know, because one of the things I'm thinking of doing, I take a herbal stack to increase my testosterone, but I've actually never had my blood tested. When I get my blood tested, I'm going to do a video on that, which is going to be in a couple months. And I'm strongly considering going on testosterone replacement therapy, depending on the level that I'm at. What's also a benefit with TRT is they also give you estrogen blockers. And there's estrogen in foods and in drink, and that's not this video. I'm not going to cover that. But when you find out all the things that have estrogen in them, no wonder men have less testosterone today than they did in the 70s and 80s, right? Which, by the way, side note, the men of the 70s and 80s had around 50% more testosterone than the men today. So when you have low testosterone, that also can make you more vulnerable to a lot of these things and can beta-tize you, all right? Another and the last part about this number 3 point in terms of unresolved weaknesses or trauma is when men are not going to the gym, right, as a result of their low testosterone, they also can fall into the trap of being a beta male. All right. Number 4, beta males usually have fragile egos, pride, and insecurities. Okay? These betas need a lot of encouragement, a lot of words of affirmation, and hey, I was guilty of this at one point, right? And I've been single for 3 years, and it's been a journey. And one of the reasons why I created this YouTube channel is because I went from a 20-year marriage to then single life, and I wanted to share my experiences, successes, and failures and learnings along the way with all of you guys, okay? So this is what happens when a lot of men are in a long-term relationship, they're in a marriage, and the woman in their life is tearing them down, right? They are telling them that either they're not good enough, they're not man enough, whatever those words are, and over time, it beats them down, right? And in general, us men have actually more fragile egos, in a sense, than women do. When it comes to words is what I mean. Like, women don't need reassurance about their beauty like men need reassurance about how great we are, how much of a leader we are, how strong we are, how smart we are. All those things is the point I'm trying to make. So betas in general, one of the things they have in common is they're very, very sensitive to words, fragile egos, and their insecurities. All right. Disregard the sirens in the background. It actually snowed in Atlanta today. It hadn't snowed for like 6 years, I think. So it's been pretty wild in the city today. But anyways, back to this. Number five point about betas is betas become desperate and pathetic. All right. they have such a hard time staying single and being alone. And that's why a lot of betas end up, doing the stupid shit online, liking all these women's photos on Facebook and Instagram, and paying the money on the hopes that maybe they'll meet them someday. They start getting obsessed with being passport bros and all this stuff. And the reality is, beta males, because they have a hard time being single and alone, and they're not working on their purpose and on themselves, on their financial aspects of their life and physical aspect of their life, and getting to the gym and getting in shape, is they become needy, and then it's harder for them to compete in North America. Okay? So that's why a lot of men become betas, is they stop taking care of themselves, they stop having a purpose, and they keep putting women as a priority. They don't deal with their childhood traumas or anything else, and they don't get their egos and insecurities in check. So hope you liked this video. Drop a comment, let me know what you think about this, and if there's anything I've missed, because I'd like to hear from you. All right. Thanks for watching, man. We'll see you next time.